Hi there, this is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video we're discussing Tap and Die. It's a fantasy, it's a novella, and felt like a fantasy version of Die Hard and 24. The main character's name is Jack, so maybe it's kind of loosely based on Jack from 24, I'm not sure. That's what it felt like. It's very fast-paced, it's action-based, a lot of magic, a lot of action, a lot of fight scenes. There's no filler, of course there's not because it's very short, but it does its job as what it is. So the author's trying to give us something that's short, fast-paced, filled with action and magic that makes you keep reading and grips you, and it does that. Personally, it's my personal bias in fantasy. I want more world building. I want to understand this world more, and the author does make a note towards the end that there's other short stories, other things about the same world you can read. But I want more of that in this book. I think this story deserves some more world building, and it calls out for it actually. Some of the characters are interesting and intriguing. The main character is interesting and gripping. Give us more of the world to centre ourselves into the story, and I think this would have been a fantastic story. Jack is returning to see his wife and daughter, and he hasn't seen them for over 9 months. Now, where he's going, it's a structure that goes down into a volcano. So it's like a skyscraper, but upside down. And there's all this anti-gravity stuff going on outside to keep the volcano, the lava, the heat away from the building. And that would have been great if we had that in more detail, to understand that in much more detail. So everything in the building is upside down. So the top floors are up above and the bottom floors are down below. So Jack's going back there, and his wife is an ambassador or works for an ambassador, and this building is just filled with ambassadors from every known world in this universe, in this world the author's created. Not long after Jack arrives, there's a terrorist attack on this building, on this structure, and Jack is getting changed, getting dressed at the time, and so he's naked, and much of this story occurs when Jack is still naked. That's very strange in the book. So in a way, this is not so much a serious fantasy book. It feels like it's tongue-in-cheek. It feels a bit of a farce in some moments as well. I don't know if that's the intention of the author. That's what it comes across as anyway. So the terrorists take everybody else hostage, and Jack is free. And he's got all these skills. He feels like he's some sort of military or law enforcement officer. And he's got a lot of skills, and he knows magic. And there's a lot of magic in this book, and it feels like there's a lot of magic in this world. So the basic story is there's terrorists, they take hostages, they're trying to get a treasure, and the treasure, I think, is something based around knowledge. Jack is free to roam around. Well, he's not free to roam around, he's trying to save people. He's trying to save his wife and daughter as well. So his mission is to kill the terrorists and save anybody he can, including his wife and daughter. That's the basic plot, and I won't dive into the ins and outs of the plot in this video. If you want to read the story, the very short story, it's about 140 pages. That's what it was when I read the ebook anyway, and it's a very quick read. I'll talk about just the setting in general. The setting is very interesting and intriguing, but I wanted that in more detail. The magic system really interested me as well. I found it quite fascinating, and I want that in more detail as well. There is one part of the magic system that feels a bit questionable, and a lot of reviewers are saying that as well. They're saying that there's something strange about one part of the magic system. Look, it does feel strange, and it feels odd. It feels very unique. I've not seen that before in other fantasy stories, and it makes me think that sometimes this book is a bit of a farce, a bit of tongue-in-cheek. So I don't know if the author even takes that part seriously. I won't go into detail what that is. If you read this, you'll soon know what I'm talking about. Even a glossary would have helped with this novella. Just a glossary to explain some things about the world. But the author came into this with an intention. And I think the intention is to create something that's short, fast-paced, very quick, very sharp, and just gets to a point at the end. It actually feels like this could be one section of a larger novel. I got that feeling as well when I was reading it. I felt like there were parts at the start and parts afterwards that we haven't seen yet. I'm wondering if that's the intention as well. Will the author later on create a bigger piece of work with this as just one section or one chapter. There's only one real character in this book that's explored enough to talk about in this video, and that's the main character, Jack. And with the name Jack, and with what this novel's about, what it includes anyway, it makes me think that this is somehow based on Jack from 24, that series 24, where Jack's the not a secret service agent, but he works for FBI or CIA, and he's always fighting against different people attacking his family, his country, or whatever it may be. It feels like this character is based on that. Anyway, in this book, Jackie is described fairly well. He's all about action, all about magic as well, and he seems very skilled at what he does. He's very resourceful, almost feels like a bit like MacGyver sometimes as well in what he can do. But he feels very determined. You can tell he's very attached to his family because he wants to rescue them. He loves them deeply, especially his daughter, and you can tell that he's got a lot of skills, a lot of knowledge. They're the main things that come across about Jack. He's also got a bit of humour in there as well, so it's not all serious, and that where the die-hard kind of element comes in as well, because sometimes die-hard can be sometimes on the humorous side and some of the things that go on. So it's a bit of a mixture, a bit of a blend with this character, but it all seems to work in this story, all seems to fit. Even though this story is a very quick read, and I would like more world building, this is still enjoyable. It does what it sets out to do. It's fast, action-packed, full of magic, very quick to read, and you walk away kind of satisfied with the story, because in the end, there's a satisfactory ending. But I do rate it a 2.5 out of 5, and I rate it 2.5 because just my personal bias. I want to know more details about the world. I want to know more details about all the characters in this story. I just want more. It's too short. I think the author is quite skilled, and I think the author could write something longer with more detail and give us a bit more of an understanding of this whole world this story is set in. On my channel, I do review a lot of fantasy. If you like fantasy, check out my channel and subscribe. There's also a fantasy playlist on my channel. It should be on your screen now.